Everybody, and welcome to the magnificent National Athletics Stadium in Poland for the latest stop in the World Athletics Continental Tour Gold events. A series of one-off meets designed to showcase the sport's best. And boy, oh boy, that is exactly what we've got tonight. Great head-to-head duels across the field events and the track action. That's how things are going to pan out over the next couple of hours. Men's and women's hammer will be especially poignant because tonight doubles up as the Kamila Skolimowska Memorial meet, honouring Poland's inaugural female Olympic hammer champion who passed away in February 2009. Women's 1500 will see Laura Muir, fastest woman in the world this year, taking on a whole host of great homegrown talent here in Poland. And we round off with the women's 400 metres. Well, we were told it would be hammering with rain, but it is an absolutely glorious evening here in Poland. And we're really looking forward to the action unfolding over the next 2 hours. Everyone's had a real smile on their face, myself included. The organisers really delighted with the cast list they've put together. Here's how they line up for the start of the women's high jump. Yulia Levchenko, silver medalist 3 years ago in the World Champs. She's the 2-metre clearer in the field this year. No Yaroslava Mahuchik. She cleared 2 metres in Stockholm a few days after Levchenko. They've had a couple of ding-dong battles. Great crowd in tonight. They're not allowed more than half capacity. All the usual safety drills have been strictly adhered to at the hotel for the athletes and here at the stadium. And hopefully everybody who's introduced to the crowd tonight will truly appreciate genuine rather than canned applause. It's a great turnout on a lovely evening. Here we go then for the first of our introductions. Sit back, relax and enjoy. We're with you for around about 2 hours and 5 minutes. Alexandra Novikovska, national indoor champion a couple of years ago, just 22 years of age. 175 this year, PB 185. Leah Apostolovski of Slovenia, national champion with a PB earlier this season in June, 192. Irina Herashchenko, 5th in the European indoors last year, twice World University Games silver. Laverne Spencer, she's been around a while, reigning Commonwealth champion, now 36 years of age, flying the flag for St. Lucia and still going strong. Oksana Okuneva, World University gold a few years ago, European under-23 silver way back in 2011. She's gone 192 this year. And you can expect Kamila Levchenko to get a good response from the crowd. World indoor champion in 2014. She won this event back in 2016. And then Yulia Levchenko, silver medalist in the World Championships 3 years ago. Former World Junior bronze medalist, 2nd in Stockholm and Monaco, but there's no Mahuchik here, so maybe she can not only match the 2 metres she produced in Bydgoszcz midway through last month, but maybe go higher. I mentioned the capacity. Not allowed more than 27,000 in the stadium this evening. And during the course of the evening, the director might give you a few shots of the upper tiers, where we've got cardboard cutouts of some of Poland's finest. Aliona Dubitskaya in the shot put competition. Dubitskaya along with Dongmo, one of the favourites. She's the 3rd best thrower in the world this year, Dubitskaya, with her 1927. 3 out of 3 wins so far this year, but Dongmo, the Portuguese athlete, will hope that she can put Dubitskaya under some pressure. And Renaud Lavillanie in a little bit of trouble here. What an amazing pole vault competition we very much enjoyed from Lausanne on the streets. Lavillanie has struggled a little bit to recover from that thumb injury earlier this year. It was his idea for the first of the ultimate garden clashes. 5.72 in Lausanne for a season's best. He was 4th there. And it looks as though he needs all 3 here to stay in the competition. We've also got Sam Kendricks, Piotr Lisek. Lisek had a minor injury in Lausanne, but looks as though he's back to form and fitness. Javelin, 33 years old now. What an ambassador he's been for pole vaulting and for athletics in general. Olympic champion 8 years ago, silver behind Tiago Braz de Silva on that memorable late night in Rio. Needs a bit from the crowd here. 3rd and final attempt at 5.72. Charismatic Frenchman. To keep it alive? No, not to be tonight. He hasn't quite clicked, and he would have loved to have done so in front of a generous, knowledgeable, passionate crowd. So Javelin bows out. We've still got a couple of very classy males to come. Now to the women's 100-meter hurdles. Elvira Herman in 4 against Nadine Visser in 5. 2 of the 3 fastest in the world this year. This will be fascinating. The Belarusian and the Dutchwoman drawn in adjacent lanes. Adriana Sulek, 3 national titles, just 21 years of age. World junior bronze in the heptathlon a couple of years ago. Not too far behind her lifetime best this season. She's on the inside in 2. Lane 1 is empty. Hanna Plotitsina, national champion in 13.35, but that was into a fairly hefty headwind. Then Elvira Hermans, she won this event in 2018, the European champion, the 3rd fastest in the world this year, but that 12.73 came back in June. Nadine Visser, European indoor champion, 12.68 in Turku. Can she replicate that kind of form? Skishkova, European under-20 silver medalist. This is Klaudia Wojcicki, 21 years of age, 2nd in the Polish national champs. And Efshe Boons of the Netherlands, former European junior bronze in the 4x1. She's on the outside in 8. So 2 of the 3 fastest in the world this year. Elvira Herman of Belarus in lane 4. And Nadine Visser, world indoor bronze, European indoor champion, alongside her in lane 5. Those are the 2 favourites here. Our first live track event here in Poland. Let's hope it's a good one. Herman in 4, Visser in 5. Well, it's a good start from Visser, putting Herman under a little bit of pressure here. Visser hoping to hold on to what's been a fine, unbeaten run. Oh, a little bit of a stumble there. And that's cost her the race. Herman came through. Visser was looking good. Around about, what was it, 2 barriers to go, there was a stumble from the European indoor champion, and it cost her the race. Unofficial time looks like it's 12.88, been rounded down to 12.87. That's a fine win for Herman. Just shows you the margins for error in these races are so small. She has to pick up her own trophy at the end. So it's all looking good in the early stages for Nadine Visser. Incredibly quick start from Herman. Visser was first to the first barrier. Clearly up here by half a metre. And just watch for the stumble from Visser. There. Just seemed to lose her footing. And it cost her the win. See the tension coming across Visser's face, because were it not for that stumble, she would have taken it. So Elvira Herman with a useful scout. Nadine Visser comfortably inside 13 seconds. And Skolimowska coming through for third, a long way back, but rewarded with a PB. Well, you can see the mix of spectators and cardboard cutouts. Now, Piotr Lisek, one of the most popular men or women to appear in the stadium tonight, won this event in 2015, 18 and 19. Well, he gave it a little wobble, but he's over 5.72. Took off a little too early, you suspect. He was miles over in height. 6 wins so far this year for Lisek. 3 times a World Championship medalist, including a bronze last year in an incredible competition in Doha. It was one of the best. Sam Kendricks just giving him a little pat on the head. If you're familiar with athletics, you'll know there's absolutely no game playing or kidology going on there. Kendricks just such a huge fan of the sport. He wants everybody to do well. You can spot Lisek in there. He's got that familiar roar. His face plastered across the stadium. Getting a touch cooler now. So, Kendricks and Lisek are the men still in the hunt here. Raphael Holztepper and Jules Cypre. The German and the Frenchman had real difficulties, couldn't get over their opening heights. Robert Sobera ducked out with just a clearance at 5.32. We lost Wojciechowski, former world champion, at 5.52. And we saw Lavillenie bowing out at 5.62. So it's modest so far, but let's hope this can be half as good as that late night duel between Mondo Duplantis and Sam Kendricks. Here we go then, Lisek, that trademark roar coming down. 5.82, oh yes. Cometh the hour, cometh the big man, cometh the roar. He loves it, so do the crowd. Certainly showing no signs of the little injury that gave him problems in Lausanne. He is a man who wears his heart on his sleeve, that's for sure. National record holder for Poland last year with 6.02. First time clearance at 5.82, so he's in the lead. Well, we promised you a huge array of talent, and they don't come much bigger than Daniel Stahl, literally and metaphorically. He's the man to beat in the men's discus, but what a great field assembled. Just waiting to see whether they're getting the big introduction behind the black divider. They are. Lukasz Charnetsky. He is a cerebral palsy athlete. In Paralympic terms, he's a F35 to 38. Polish organisers have done brilliantly to integrate some of the disability athletes into the main event. Oskar Stashnik, World Junior Silver 4 years ago. Bartholomew Stoj, European Junior Champion 5 years ago. Christian Kay, European Under-23 Champion last year. 5th best in the world this year with 68.75. He's in fine form, the Slovenian. 2-time Polish national champion, Robert Urbanek. 11th best thrower in the world this year. Bronze in the Worlds back in Beijing. Piotr Malachowski, a man mountain. 6th best thrower in history with 71.84. Just 64 meters this season, but he'll fancy he can get amongst the mix here in front of his home crowd. Andreas Gudzius, world champion 3 years ago, just 12th last year in Doha, reigning European champion, 68 meters this year. Here's the main man, the world champion, the 5th best thrower in history. I make it 14 out of 14 so far this year, 2 throws over 70 meters. He's an absolute beast when he's in full flow. Taking a leisurely approach over to the throwing circle for the discus. Now, Sam Kendricks. He's in 2nd place because Lisek cleared 582 at the first time of asking. This the 2nd attempt for this charismatic American who went 602 in Lausanne. Oh, no. He's got a few problems here. Maybe suffering a little bit of a hangover after that great drama in the Lausanne competition. No, in fact, 592. So he's only got one more chance. He decided that was what was required because he knew after that first time failure at 582 he was already behind Lisek. The far side of the stadium, a smattering of spectators, but it's pretty packed beneath the commentary position here in line with the home straight. Fantastic to see so many people here ready to enjoy a night of world-class athletics. I think we're all glad to be back, even if it is in these new socially distanced days. There was a real buzz of excitement around the Athletes Hotel last night. Everybody desperate to see the best in the world take centre stage. And that, without any shadow of a doubt, is what we've got here this evening. So, Lisek. Clean card so far, very economical. 3 vaults, 3 clearances. He's already leading. This would put Kendricks under even more pressure. No. His first failure of the night. But comfortably in front, and he'll be relishing taking on Kendricks. And what a scalp it would be in the absence of Mondo Duplantis. Kendricks has been the season's other outstanding performer, but Lisek is a fantastic vaulter in his own right. That's why he's won 3 World Championship medals. Now, a little earlier, we had the men's and women's javelin competition. Maria Andrzejczyk, 24-year-old from Poland, just missed a medal in Rio, but unbeaten in 4 competitions this year. National champion with a relatively modest 62 meters on the 29th of August, but that was better. An absolutely sensational first round throw from her just around about half an hour or so ago. Crowd really got behind her in the build-up. And it was a massive effort, not quite a PB, but 65.70. A great effort from Andrzejczyk. And that gave her the win. Lena Muse was 2nd. And that left the reigning Olympic champion, Sara Kolak, just a little bit out of sorts in 3rd, but it was a fine win for the Polish woman. Now, Johannes Vetter was returning to the birth city of his grandfather when this area of Poland was part of Germany. And take a look at this. We could hardly believe our eyes. In the 3rd round, the 2nd best throw in history. It was absolutely ridiculous. Only 72 centimeters off the 24-year-old world record from Jan Zalesny. The stadium announcer almost blew a gasket, and there was stunned silence for the first couple of seconds as everybody tried to work out where the javelin had landed because it was so far ahead of the 90-meter line. I've been waiting for the director to show this. I didn't want to spoil it. It was absolutely phenomenal. What a way to start, and what a way to announce his return to the city of his grandfather's birth. It was a PB by over 3 meters. Staggering performance from Vetter. He already had the world lead with 91.49. 97.76. It was absolutely phenomenal. He almost couldn't believe it himself, and neither could we. So that was a little earlier. Vetter with a PB. Kwiatkowski was miles behind with a fairly respectable 84 plus change. And by the way, Vetter also had a 94-meter throw in the 4th round. So I've been dying to mention that, but I wasn't quite sure the order in which the director would show things this evening. So, yeah, that was a very, very exciting start to the competition. Oriol Dongmo, formerly of Cameroon, transferred allegiance to Portugal in March this year, and she's been very busy. It's her 15th competition of the year, unbeaten outdoors. (18:33) in round 4. Well, she has gone 19.53 for the world lead. So here's Lisek. Looking to extend his advantage over Sam Kendricks, who only has 1 chance remaining at 5.92. There's the roar. He's in a great position in this competition, but he'd love to edge closer to 6 meters. No. 1 more to come for the man who's won this event 3 times. It would represent a season's best for Lisek. It's cleared 5.90. Kendricks, the only man who can deny Lisek the win. We'll be watching for his 2nd and final attempt at 5.92 very shortly. Confirmation that 18.33 in the 4th round was enough for Dongmo to sustain her unbeaten record. Savinkova rewarded with a PB 18.32 in 2nd. Dubitskaya 3rd, 18 meters. And Renata Slivinska, she is an F40. World record for her, 9.35. Spot the image of Lewandowski there. He'll be going in the 800 meters later, up against his compatriot and good friend Adam Kshot. Ferguson Rotich going in that one as well. He ran low 144s in Marseille on the 3rd of September, so that could be an absolutely cracking 800. That, in fact, will be our 3rd last race of the evening. We finish off with the men's 4 and then the women's 400 meters, which is a who's who of Polish one-lap running. Hope you're enjoying the coverage this evening. Plenty more still to come. Novikovska, 22-year-old, in the early stages of the high jump competition. We've got Yulia Levchenko going in that one. Remember, she's the one of only 2 women to have cleared 2 meters this season. Yaroslav Mahuchik isn't here, so Levchenko, the Ukrainian, looking to take full advantage. And that's a nice early clearance there from Novikovska. Be keeping a close eye on the early stages of the men's discus as well. Great cast list assembled So Lisek, last chance to clear 5.92 and improve on his season's best by 2 centimetres. Great applause from the crowd. Oh, it was better, wasn't it? But not to be. But it's a fine win. We haven't been shown the second attempt at 5.92 from Sam Kendricks, which was his third in a row because he had one failure at 5.82. So the competition finishes with Lisek taking it from Kendricks. Bartholomew Storj, just shy of the 65-metre line in the early stages of this men's discus. Great interest to see whether Daniel Stahl can produce another monster 70-plus metre throw. Christian K of Slovenia, I mentioned when he walked in to the stadium, he's had a fine season so far. National record earlier in this disrupted campaign, but he's having a few problems settling in now. That's 2 no throws now for the Slovenian, European under-23 champion last year. Good job the middle distance events weren't going on at that time. 5th best thrower in the world this year. Robert Urbanek, former World Championship bronze medalist in the baking heat of Beijing back in 2015. Well, he gets a valid throw this time. Twice a national champion. Great interest for this competition. 63.83 moves him up into 3rd place. Malachowski, 37 years of age now. He won the Kamila Skolimowska Memorial back in 2012 and 2015. He's the 6th best in history. 71.84, but that was 7 years ago. Going for the tracky T look tonight. Well, it's better. It's a valid throw. After not registering a mark in the first round, it's taken a few of these guys a couple of minutes to settle. It is getting quite chilly now in the stadium. Having basked in late afternoon sunshine, you can feel it getting a little fresher here. 63.05, so just behind Urbanek. He moves up to 4th. Andreas Gudzius, world champion in London 3 years ago. European champion 2 years ago. Former world junior champion as well. Very modest opening throw. He has gone over 68 meters this season. So quick. Well, it's an improvement on the first round, but he knows he's capable of a lot more. 3rd in Stockholm. But he's got his work cut out this evening. Plenty of time left, but great sense of anticipation ahead of what Daniel Stahl can produce this evening here in Poland. So he's added almost 1.5 meters. Prowling around. So, Daniel Stahl. 66.54 in the first round. What's the big man got for us here in the second? Well, he can't get it right every single time. .71.37 this year. He also has had a 70-meter 25 throw back on the 21st of June. So he's gone over the big mark twice this year. Eva Svoboda, semi-fallen down. She'll be going a little bit later in a star-studded 100 meters against the in-form Del Ponte of Switzerland and Daphne Schippers. So that was Lisek's successful clearance of 5.82 at the first time of asking, which is why he has taken the honours here in Poland this evening and taken the notable scalp of the in-form Sam Kendricks. Great to see Lisek coming out on top. He's part of this triumvirate of excellence with him, Kendricks and Mondo Duplantis. What a great competition they lay on. Well, it wasn't 12 months ago, but it was nearly 12 months ago in Doha. Lisek takes it then, courtesy of that 5.82. 5.72, not the fireworks. Well, he can't deliver every time, Sam Kendricks. And the veteran, as we call him now, Renaud Levillenie, coming home third with 5.62. Relatively modest from the Frenchman. Back with the men's discus. So, can the former European junior champion improve on that first round throw, 63.94? No, he can't. Foot just went across the circle. So it's still Stahl with that 66.54 in the first round. Just toppling over. Now, Christian K needs to be very careful here. 2 no throws. Oh, that's better. That's much better from the Slovenian. My goodness me. Yeah. Responding to the pressure and responding well. He has had a national record, I mentioned, on the 23rd of June. 68.75. Stahl's lead, by the way. 66.54. Oh, that's great. He moves up to second place. And Daniel Stahl coming under a little bit of pressure. And by the way, he threw yesterday in Finland in the Sweden v Finland match and threw 69.50. There's no stopping him. Urbanek in the third round, looking to improve on just shy of 64 meters. Really good effort from Christian K of Slovenia, just to put a little bit of spice in this discus competition. No improvement from Urbanek. Fairly consistent with that third round throw, but just he feels perhaps not quite clicking yet. Well, he's ditched the tracksuit trousers, and now the big man means business. The former world champion, the 6th best thrower in history, Malachowski. Still not absolutely happy with his rhythm and timing here. 63.05. It's going to be there or thereabouts, perhaps no improvement for him. Yeah, 62.40. 5th place he remains. Good Zeus, the European champion. That's a modest card by his own very high, impeccable standards. That's an improvement. Not enough to trouble the likes of Stahl, who leads with 66.54, and Christian K, who's produced that third round effort of 66.16. But it's better from the Lithuanian. So, edging towards the 63-meter line. Well, not only did Daniel Stahl compete yesterday for Sweden against Finland, he had to wait until 3:30 for his flight home. And he still produced 66.54 in the first round. Oh, that's another good throw from the Swedish world champion. Great dedication. Apparently, the Swedish team were told to fly in and out on the same day. They weren't allowed to stay overnight because of the COVID restrictions. So it was a monstrously long day for the big man. And here he is delivering once again in Poland. He's waiting for that measurement to come. 66.54 in the first round. Still waiting on the scoreboard in the stadium as well. 67.01, it is an improvement. My goodness me, that's not bad, is it, considering that he had to wait until 3:30 for a flight home this morning from a previous competition. He is an animal. Levchenko. It's the Ukrainian. First time failure at 185. First time clearances at 175 and 180, so a good start for the Ukrainian. Now Laverne Spencer, the Commonwealth champion. Needed a second attempt at 180. Oh, that's good. Tiny little wobble of the bar. The veteran delivering here in some style. 36 years of age. Closing in on her season's best, actually. 188 in Sweden on the 10th of August. So this is promising competition for Laverne Spencer. She's an absolute household name on St. Lucia. There's billboards of her everywhere on the island. Okunieva looking to join Spencer with a first-time clearance. 185. Very aggressive on the in-run. Well, looked as though she had that. Just brushed the bar. Yeah, it was close. Levchenko. Just the one jump so far. Ooh. Seemed to hit that with her shoulder blades. Just timing a little bit out there on the takeoff, perhaps. Novikovska's the only casualty so far. She bowed out at 175. Spencer, the only athlete so far clear at 185 at the first time of asking, but Yulia Levchenko yet to go. 2 meters this season. Yeah, that was easy, or she made it look fairly easy. Driving those arms high. No Mahuchik here, so Levchenko will feel this is a great opportunity. Former world junior bronze medalist, youth Olympic champion in Nanjing back in 2014. I saw her compete there, and you could tell then she was going to be a special talent. Into the 4th round then in this men's discus, Gudzius. Giving himself a good talking to. 62.99. His best so far in the 3rd. Stahl leading with that 67.01 in the 3rd round. Christian K of Slovenia up into 2nd. Fairly consistent from Gudzius, but he's going to need more if he's to get on the podium here this evening on this World Athletics Continental Tour Gold meeting. So too will Malachowski. Trying to produce something close to a season's best, which is 64.87. Music's pumping in the stadium. Home support trying to will him on. That looked better. Another consistent effort from a man who has delivered for his country time and time and time again. Really is getting chilly in the stadium now. These men will have to keep warm in between efforts. It's his best throw so far, but still not much closer to the podium. Robert Urbanek in 4th. 2 efforts of 63 meters, bouncing around, watching this one. Landed just inside the right-hand line. Doesn't like it. Women's 1500, women's 100 meters, men's 800, and 2 400s still to come. If you're thinking about going out, please don't. Keep us company. We've waited a long time for world-class athletics to return. Urbanek with a little bit to do in this competition if he is to try and get in amongst the top 3. Here's Stoj. Giving himself the talking to here. 63.94. It is a season's best so far this evening, but he wants more. No, tumbles out. Stadium was absolutely buzzing earlier after that Johannes Vetter 97-meter throw. What a way to kick things off here this evening for this Continental Tour Gold event. Incidentally, in terms of the numbers, you need $200,000 prize money to qualify as a gold event. No improvement on that fabulous 3rd round throw of 66.16. Polish organisers really proud to be a gold tour meet. All of us, I think, just delighted to be competing, watching or talking about this great sport. Athletics front and centre once more. Well, the Slovenian nowhere near improving on that third round throw, which is by far his best of the evening with a couple of rounds to go. So, late night flights home for no other reason than representing his country. He's over 67 meters. Any improvement here for the season's outstanding performer? It's another good effort, just over the 65-meter line, absolutely irrelevant. His first round and third round throws much better. Apostolovsky then. Third time clearance at 185. See how she gets on. 189. Oh, nowhere near. Levchenko and Spencer were the two high jumpers to go over 185 at the first time of asking. Levchenko, Okunyeva, Levchenko needed 2 attempts. Apostolovsky of Slovenia needed 3. And she'll need at least 1 more for 189. Heroshenko with Geroshenko on her bib. Not quite sure why. It wasn't a million miles away. Twice a World University Games silver medalist, twice a national champion, 5th in European indoors last year. So she's a classy competitor, the Ukrainian, at her best. $199 last year. Now, Laverne Spencer. Excellent first-time clearance at 185. This for a season's best. 2 more efforts for the St. Lucian. A lot of neutrals were so pleased for her when she got that seemingly elusive Commonwealth gold on the Gold Coast last March. She tried for so many years to come out on top. A proud moment for the Caribbean island. Okunyeva. So 1 by 1. They're all finding this next height difficult. Levchenko will be followed by Levchenko. 34 years of age, the former world indoor champion. Won this event in 2016. This for a season's best. Not to be for her either, but a couple more chances available. Now we turn our attention to the longest event of tonight's program on the track, the women's 1500 meters. Sophia Enoe taking on Laura Muir. Enoe got the European silver indoors and out behind Laura Muir. Laura is the fastest woman in the world this year over the 1500. 3:57.86 in Stockholm. Fabulous, 59-point change, I think, on the final 400 meters. She's in really good form and ran 2 minutes plus odd bits in Marseille over the 800 meters on the 3rd of September. So she really does arrive here in excellent fettle. Interesting to see how the 2 Ethiopians go as well. Lemlem Hailiu, 3rd best junior in history over 3,000 meters, but she's had a quiet year so far. Johanna Bekus, She'll be one of the pacemakers. Johanna Josvik, European bronze back in 2014. Then Laura Muir, 4 times European indoor champion, European outdoor champion, beating this woman, Sofia Enaoui, into 2nd place. Can the Polish woman do anything to stop the Scots? Lemlem Hailiu, still just a teenager, former world youth champion. So quick. So too is Angelika Hichotska, world indoor silver back in 2014. Eilish McColgan, European silver 2 years ago over the 5,000 meters. She ran 4:03 in Marseille, so she brings good form here. Claudia Bobachir, 7th in the European indoors behind Laura Muir last year. Simona Vralova, European finalist. Habitema Lemlu, 4th in the world indoors over 800 meters. She ran 2:02 in Marseille, so she's there or thereabouts in terms of her form. Renata Pliss, 3rd in the Polish national champs over 5,000 meters. She's been around a while. Klaudia Kazimierska, European youth bronze last year. And on the inside, Johanna Mazur, who runs with her husband. She's a T11, which means she's a blind athlete. The Polish organisers determined to have some inclusion here for the Paralympic categories. He's being asked to stand up. Mazur on the inside. World and European gold medalist in 2017 and 19. She won't be quite as quick as the likes of Laura Muir, but great to have her included in the programme here. Muir, the favourite, 3rd from the outside. The fastest woman in the world this year over the 1,500 metres. Can she challenge the meeting record, which is 4:01? She ran 3:57 in Stockholm, so it's not impossible. Angelika Chichotska, Polish director watching out for her. Being asked to wait a long time here. Nerves jangling.
Państwo jakieś problemy z aparaturą startową, dlatego czekamy na rozpoczęcie biegu na 1500 metrów pań.
Well, they're being told that they've got 2 minutes.
A zatem musimy poczekać.
Just looking around the stadium, it's not immediately obvious why that delay has come to pass. However, we really are looking forward to this women's 1,500 metres. Still watching out for the business end of the women's high jump and the men's discus. Plenty of drama still to come here. Men's shot put, men's and women's hammer, which will be particularly poignant because this does double up as the Kamila Skolimowska Memorial meet. A couple of technical issues, it would seem then, all being dealt with as swiftly as possible. Beautiful early evening sunshine, but I can tell you from the point of view of sitting up in the commentary position, it's a stunning stadium, but it is getting a little chilly. It may be colder perhaps than it looks. World Athletics will be back here for the relays the first weekend of May. It really is a stunning stadium. Here's hoping, touch wood, that our programme for 2021 is uninterrupted. You really do get the sense that everyone in athletics is just so delighted to be back. I hope you're getting that feeling back home. Right then, I think we get a chance to do another quick sweep across. It's Laura Muir, the favourite for this one. Watch out for Sofia Enaoui, who got the silver behind Laura Muir, indoors and out over the 1,500 metres. Angelika Chichotska, decorated Polish athlete, will fancy she can get in the mix. And watch out for the 2 Ethiopians, especially Lemlem Hailiu, still just a teenager, the 3rd fastest junior in history over 3,000 metres, although she's had a relatively quiet outdoor season so far. The young Ethiopian did run 4:01 indoors back at the start of the year, but that feels like a lifetime ago for so many reasons. Here we go then, women's 1500. Well, at last we are underway for this, our longest event of the programme. Hailu, the teenage Ethiopian, tucking in behind the pacemakers. Laura Muir in 4th place. Eilish McColgan just in the middle of the picture with the long ponytail. She ran well in Marseille for 4:03. Coming down the home straight, which is great for the huge bank of spectators who've made their way in. Muir now coming up onto the shoulder of the 2 pacemakers. Bobachir taking closer order there as well. Pretty steady at the moment. That's Mazur. She's the blind athlete. In Paralympic terms, you call them T11. So she's allowed to be guided by her husband. 64.2 at 400 meters. So pretty much bang on 4-minute pace, which is nice, honest running. By the way, the meeting record, Shannon Osika, 4:01.8. So it could well come under threat here. Muir in 3rd, behind the 2 pacemakers, Bekus and Josvik. Hailu in 4th. Bobachir is running well, 9 national titles, and she's in form after she too ran a decent time in Marseille. So many meetings popping up all over the place. And just to mark your card, by the way, how about Ostrava on Tuesday the 8th and then Zagreb, September the 15th? So we had a 64 plus change for the opening 400 meters. And this looks like pretty good pacemaking. A fraction slower, so they're on 2:09.5, so they do need to pick it up a little bit if they're hoping to come home inside 4 minutes. And Laura Muir produced a 59-second closing lap. She took the lead in Stockholm just before the bell. So it's Josvik now stepping aside, and we get into the race proper. It's Hailu, this brilliant teenager from Ethiopia, with Laura Muir on her shoulder. Bobachir in 3rd. Enaui, the perennial silver medalist at the Europeans, indoors and out. Tiny figure. She's in 4th. And Eilish McColgan's done really well to close the gap. She's in 5th as they come round now towards the bell. Great last 400 in prospect. They take the bell then in this, the longest event of our evening in Poland. Lemlem Hailu, still just a teenager, world youth champion in 2017 over the 1500 meters. But look at Laura Muir going now. 3:14 with 300 meters to go. Enaui is running really well to try and close down the fastest woman in the world this year. Bobachir now coming past a tiring Hailu. Laura Muir really going for this, but she's got to, because look at Enaui. She may not be as tall as the Scot, but she's giving chase really well here, and Muir needs to hang on. Possibly a telltale glance over the shoulder from Enaui, whose head is beginning to rock and roll. It's been a fine run by the first 2. Bobachir is away and clear in 3rd ahead of Hailu. Watch the clock here. Laura Muir has really put the burners on in the last 250. 3:58.25, the unofficial time. She smashed the meeting record and finished with a fantastic piece of acceleration. She needed it as well, because all credit to Sophia Enaui. She too ran brilliantly over the last 250 meters. Well, the fastest woman in the world this year over 1500 has delivered once again. That was world class from Laura Muir. A brilliant run. Just waiting for the official times. I think Enaui broke 4 minutes as well, and comfortably so. And a nice round of applause here for Joanna Mazieu, the blind athlete coming home. What was she? 4:52 plus change. Running with her husband. Well, watch the way Enaui comes sweeping past Bobachea and Hailu. Hailu began to tire quite badly just towards the end. Enaui gave chase really well here, but Laura Muir's face was a picture of concentration. That was the 1-2-3. And from a relatively modest pace early on, it was a fantastic final 400 from Muir and from the Polish woman as well. Great distance running, middle distance running, far distance running, because it's the longest event we'll see by miles. What a season for Laura Muir. How much quicker can she go? She's looking in great shape. So from the women's 1,500 meters to the women's 100 meters, that to come shortly. Great running by Laura Muir, and Sophia Enaui rewarded with a personal best in second, and so too Bobachea in third. Richly deserved for the two women who gave chase to a Briton who was not to be caught. Lemlem Hailu very tired in fourth. Ailish McColgan ran well, and PBs for Kazimierska in sixth, and season's bests for Zavlova and Pliss down in ninth. Fine, fine running from Laura Muir. So the next event on the track will be the women's 100 meters, but meanwhile we return to the big men. Just rounding things off. Daniel Stahl. Any improvement then? He's 67.01 so far for the man who has competed twice in 2 days. That's a great effort with which to finish. Looks another one over 67 meters. He's turned winning into a habit here. .67.28, his best throw in the last round. He looks a little bit reflective, but that's a brilliant performance, especially bearing in mind his travel arrangements and the fact that he competed yesterday in Finland. Daniel Stahl takes it, that brilliant third round throw from Christian Kay, bringing the Slovenian second, and Andreas Gooduse completed our podium. So that's the view from some of the quieter sections of the crowd, but I can assure you down the home straight, it's looking very busy indeed. We had good crowds in Lausanne last week as well. The daylight faded, denying Mondo Duplantis perhaps another world record. Bowing out, what was it, 6:07? How could Sam Kendricks have been beaten in that one with 6:02? Just shows you the quality in men's pole vaulting at the moment. And Piotr Lisek, to the delight of the Polish crowd, has taken victory here this evening. That's the image of Kamila Skolimowska with that Sydney gold medal over her shoulder. She passed away in February 2009 and is fondly remembered at this meet and by all Polish and international athletes down the years. I think the tickets have been free for tonight, which is great. Good to see some young faces in the crowd as well. The schools have gone back here in Poland. I was talking to a very nice taxi driver who brought me to the hotel, so they might be a little bit tired tomorrow. Right then, so we are returning to this women's high jump competition. Levchenko. This is her going for 192, a fine third time clearance at 189. So she's got a sizable season's best already. And she's guaranteed to finish in second place. Her and Yulia Levchenko are the only ones to have gone clear at 189. Laverne Spencer finished third on count back, tied on the distance on height with Okunyeva in fourth. But here we go. Well, she's kept the competition alive and ensured that Yulia Levchenko, her compatriot, doesn't have it all her own way. I was just mentioning there, Spencer has got third on count back. We've got 4 women who bowed out on 185. Okunyeva was tied with fourth with Levchenko of Poland. But this is the battle for the win. And Levchenko will need to come back for 192. First time failure for Levchenko. 192, more than capable. She'll expect to clear this at the first time of asking. Glancing up at the big screen to try and see where she went wrong. Just gone 7 o'clock local time. Right then, to this women's 100 meters. What a trio in the middle lanes. Del Ponte, the informed Swiss. Svoboda, twice European under-23 champion. And Daphne Schippers, her first outing of the season, I think, over the 100. This is Klaudia Adamek, European youth bronze 4 years ago. She was third in the Polish national champs with that good time, just inside 11.5. Nice wave for the home crowd. Yvette Lalova-Colliot, an absolutely brilliant athlete, just off the podium in Athens. Yes, Athens, 16 years ago. Maja Mihalic, the Slovenian with 12 national titles, 11:44 her season's best. Now to Alia Del Ponte. Victories in Rieti, Monaco, Bydgoszcz and Stockholm. She's got big company here. Eva Svoboda in the lane outside her. Won this event the last 2 years. Daphne Schippers, twice a world champion over 200 meters, the distance at which she is the third best in history. A modest 22.9 over the 200, her only outing this season. European junior champion over 200 meters, Amy Hunt. She was third in the British champs in 11:35 earlier in the weekend. Nicola Bendova, former European youth bronze medalist over 200 meters 4 years ago. She's on the outside in 8. So Adamek, Lalova-Colliot, Mihalic, Del Ponte, Svoboda, Schippers, Hunt, Bendova. The women's 100 meters. Watch for Del Ponte in 4. She's on a brilliant run of form, but Svoboda in 5 and Schippers in 6 will have something to say about that, they hope. Women's 100 meters. Those are the 3 lanes to watch in 4, 5 and 6. Away first time of asking. Svoboda got away well and Del Ponte under a little bit of pressure. Now Schippers beginning to come on the outside. Very, very close on the line. Schippers takes it from Svoboda and Del Ponte at last this season is beaten. Well, it wasn't the quickest race we've ever seen. Schippers with a little puff of the cheeks. You could see there why she performs so well at 200 meters, because as she got into her running, there was an irresistible momentum that took her past the 2 women who were tying up on her inside. Rounded down to 11:29. That's a decent run from Schippers, who will be happy that she's come here and got the win in Poland. Fabulous start, by the way, from Mihalic. Del Ponte trying to come up onto Svoboda's shoulder. But as those two began to tie up, look at the strength and the stride from Skippers coming through in lane 6 with daylight between her and her two rivals. That's a good win for Skippers. It hasn't been a perfect season for her, but she came through well. She was absolutely flying in Beijing 5 years ago. It was unbelievable to see how quickly she ran over the 200 meters, and it's good to see her back to fitness and health. Remember, she scratched from the World Championship final last year in Doha. Definitely Skippers takes it 500ths ahead of Svoboda, who was out dipping Del Ponte on the line by 100th. Amy Hunt was some way isolated back in 4th. Levchenko hoping to turn the screw here on Heroshenko. Yeah, that's why she is #1 on the world leaderboard this year. Mahuchik has also cleared 2 meters, but that came later in August, so by virtue of clearing 2 meters a couple of days earlier, it is Levchenko who is on top, and that is the case here. Heroshenko is under pressure, her compatriot. So she needed 3 at 189, and she'll need 3 if she is to try and put her younger compatriot under pressure. Just trying to get herself pumped up and ready here. Heroshenko then. Double World University Games silver medalist, twice a national champion. It's been a fine evening for her already. A notable season's best, up from 185 to 189, asking the crowd to get involved, and they respond. Even the lady who's on the phone. No, it just didn't look convincing, did it? But it has been a great evening for the 25-year-old. She will finish up in 2nd place, which means the win will go to Levchenko. It's just a matter of how high. Well, can Ryan Krauser continue the unbelievable form that he's been producing in the United States from earlier this year? He'll be the last of our athletes introduced. This men's shot put competition could be something else, and maybe there's a bit of a sparkle in the air after Johannes Vetter's 97-meter javelin. Bartosz Dziszkowski, he's a para-athlete, silver medalist and twice a world champion. He's an F41 for athletes with short stature. Sebastian Luxo, 5th in the national championships this year, the 26-year-old. Jakub Szuszkowski, European under-23 gold 7 years ago, 2nd in the national champs. Now, Nick Ponzio is in good form, 2nd in Des Moines with 21.19, and he threw a 21.72 towards the end of July. David Stahl, what a fine ambassador he's been for shot putting. Easy to forget, a double world champion, Daegu in 11 and Moscow in 2013, 3 times a European champion, and an Olympic silver medalist as well. Now to a fascinating youngster coming into brilliant form. European under-23 silver last year, Leonardo Fabri. He's up to 21.99. He'll fancy he can give the Americans a run for their money. And so too will Konrad Bukowiecki, European indoor champion, just 23 years of age, a man mountain. He threw 21.88 indoors back in February. Michael Haratic, European champion indoors and out. 7 out of 7, including the national championships this year. But they will all be wondering what the Cowboy's going to produce. Unbelievable. The Olympic champion has thrown over 22 meters 18 times already this year. And in Des Moines, on the 29th of August, you can hardly believe these numbers. If you're a statistician, you'll be loving this. All 6 throws in Des Moines were over 22.20. It had only been done once before. So we'll be interested to see how Krauser goes. He is making 22.20s and 22.50s look fun. Meanwhile, Yulia Levchenko already has the win guaranteed here on this World Athletics Continental Tour Gold Silesia 2020 meeting to give it its full title. First attempt at 195. Just edging towards the end of this high jump competition. Herachenko has bowed out on 189 in second. Levert Spencer third on count back on 185. Levchenko for 195. Not this time. So a couple more attempts, should she want them. I can't wait to see Krauser in this men's shot put competition. Field events don't always get the airtime they deserve, but that certainly won't be the case this evening. The Poles have great knowledge, great interest and great respect for the field events. Here's Czyszkowski, the Paralympian. Saw him in the hotel, having breakfast. He looked pumped and up for it. Poland have a really good team when it comes to para-athletics, actually. I've had the privilege of covering a few editions of the World Champs and the Paralympic Games, and they always have an excellent showing, not just in the field events, but in the sprints and the middle distance as well. Looks so. Fifth in the national champs. Fourth indoors. Just managed to keep it in there. (1869), he'll hope for much more. Very early stages here, though, of course. So Levchenko, second crack at 195. Crowd getting involved here, trying to help her out. Still only 22. What a talent. No, didn't like it. A little bit of strapping on her lower back. I wonder if she's just feeling a touch uncomfortable in this, what are we now, early evening. Cold weather. Here's Nick Ponzio. The little waist bag, by the way, is where he keeps extra chalk. It's not his passport and debit card. He's had a great season so far, he really has. Working with Ryan Whiting. Doesn't like that first effort, but what an improvement. 21.72 in July. No throw with that first round, but there might be more to come from the 25-year-old American. Daniel Stahl, national champion in Germany with that fairly modest 20.84. It's good to see him back. He's had so many injuries since storming to those world titles 9 and 7 years ago, respectively. Big roar. Well, that's a good start from the German. Easy to forget. He's been around for so long. You kind of think that he's sort of 35, 36, but he's still only just 30, David Stahl, and he could well be a force to be reckoned with if he can continue coming back from the injuries. Modest, but a solid opener for him. Leonardo Fabri, 21.99. He's 33rd on the all-time list now. No, just had a little wobble there. But a lot of interest in the European under-23 silver medalist from last year. He had a 21.59 indoors in February, so there were hints earlier this year that some big throws and some big form were coming. And my goodness me, he's displayed that, edging ever closer to the tantalizing 22-meter line. Vukovic, 21.88 in February indoors. He's a huge man. Should take the lead with that. Very early stages though, and we haven't seen Krauser yet. 20.41, he does indeed go into first place. Michal Haratic, European champion indoors and out. 7 out of 7 this year. He too arrives here in fine form. Oh yes, by far the best throw of the competition in this opening round, even though we do have the rock star still to go. Take nothing away from Haratic. Field events front and center here. We have got a few more track events to come, but not for a little while. The cowboy hat is off. He means business. 22.91 earlier this season. Joint third on the all-time list. Every single one of his 6 throws in the States in his last competition was over 22.20. Is he going to start here in Europe as he finished at home in the States? Oh, yes, he is. That is ridiculous. Ryan Krauser, the Olympic champion, who was only beaten to the world title, remember, last year, by an inspired Joe Kovacs, who came past him, I think, in the last round with 22.91. He's come up with a huge opening statement here in Poland. Well, Johannes Vetter delivered a great throw at the beginning of the evening, and my goodness me, Ryan Krauser's done the same here in the shot put. Waiting for that measurement to come. 22.53, there's the declaration of intent. Krauser says, okay, come and take this win if you dare. It's going to have to be a good one if you do. What a vein of form by the American, unbelievable. Confirmation, Yulia Levchenko took the high jump, 192. A decent season's best for Irina Heroshenko in second, her compatriot, and Laverne Spencer on countback taking third. Good performance from her. The veteran still in the mix with the youngsters. Hope you're enjoying our evening. Men's and women's hammer still to come. We've got the men's 800 meters, the Polish duo, Adam Schott and Lewandowski, going head-to-head once more. I think they've had something ridiculous like 71 meetings, and they're going to have to go some to beat Ferguson Rotic. Rotic ran low 144s a couple of days ago, and he'll fancy the job here in this magnificent stadium over the 8. And we finish with 2 fascinating 400s. Small but classy fields assembled for the men's and women's hammer. Women's first. Alexandra Novikovska, second best thrower in the world this year. Marginal favourite here, you think? But Kopron of Poland will fancy she can get in the mix as well. And as far as the men's event is concerned, Nowitzki of Poland and Fidek of Poland, toe-to-toe once more, the two big men vying for international honours on home soil. And as I mentioned earlier, a special poignant element to the hammer, the event that Kamila Skolimowska made famous in Sydney for Poland. Her name lives on brilliantly through this meeting. So our compact field of 8 introduced. Katarzyna Urbanek, national champion with 72 metres. European junior bronze last year. She's the 4th best thrower in the world this year. Johanna Fyodorov, silver medalist in the Worlds last year. Relatively modest season's best, so she'll need to improve, but she looks like she's in the mood and ready to deliver tonight. Alexandra Novikovska, the Frenchwoman, European silver 2 years ago, bronze in the Worlds in Beijing. 74.94. So Malvina Kopron will really have to go some tonight. World Championship bronze in London 3 years ago. She won this last year. Christos Frantzikakis of Greece, national champion, only just 20, 76 metres this year. Mihailo Kokan, World Junior Silver 2018, World Youth Gold the year before that. 6th best thrower in the world this year, still a teenager. Looks older than that, doesn't he? Wojciech Nowitzki, European champion. Bronze medals at the Worlds and Olympics for so many years. Behind this fella, Pavel Fidek, world champion in Moscow, in Beijing, in London, in Doha. The only one missing from his collection is the Olympic title. But Fidek will know it's Nowitzki who has the best throw between the two of them so far this year. That came in the national championships, 80 metres 28. Now, Haratic. Early stages, remember, of this shot put competition. 21.51 in the first round. Krause, though, 22.53. Ridiculous. It's another good effort from the European champion indoors and out. But to put it in context, he's world class, Michal Haratic. He would have to produce a personal best by over 1.20 meters to deny Ryan Krause another win here. Such is the dominance that Krause has brought to this event over the last couple of months. So, every throw over 22.20 on his last competition. Opened his account after taking off the cowboy hat with 22.53 in the first round. What on earth has the Olympic champion got for us here? Once again, it just keeps on coming. It's not quite as far, displaying a touch of disappointment, but it's going to take a massive effort from one of the other 8 men to deny Krause the win with that first round throw. Be nice if this was over 22, wouldn't it? How he must wish the Olympic Games had taken place. With this form, he would have been virtually unstoppable, you would think. His consistency is incredible. Wow, 22.59, it's an improvement. I wasn't sure it was quite as far. My goodness me. Our second middle distance event of the program. And what a corker this is. The men's 800 meters. Marcin Lewandowski in 5, Adam Schott in 6, taking on Ferguson, Chariot, Rotich, and don't forget Wesley Vasquez, the brilliant Puerto Rican who loves front running. This should be a cracking race to watch. Andrei Jaros on the outside, European junior silver, 11 years ago over the 400 meters. Michał Rom's World University Games gold last year. Now to Wesley Vasquez, Pan American silver last year, 143.8 last year, twice a national record holder. He'll really fancy this, but so too will Adam Schott, 3 times a European champion over 800 meters. Silvers in the Worlds in Beijing and in London. Marcin Lewandowski got a bronze last year in the 1500 meters. Won this event in 2018. Ferguson, Chariot, Rotich, 4th fastest in the world this year with 144.3 in Marseille on the 3rd of September. He's in cracking form. Matthias Borkowski, 3rd in the national champs over 1500 meters. Shared lane, Guy Learmonth, Commonwealth finalist, national indoor champion. He goes alongside Alvaro de Arriba, European indoor champion last year, 5th in the world indoors in 2018. And our second Puerto Rican on the inside, Andres Arroyo, semi-finalist in the Olympic Games back in Rio. A very useful 1:15 over 600 earlier this year. The men's 800 meters then. Wesley Vasquez, the Puerto Rican, loves front running, but watch for Adam Schott, Marcin Lewandowski, the 2 Poles going eyeballs out against Ferguson, Chariot, the Kenyan, who is the 16th fastest in history. A great run from Rotich, who just seems to be getting faster and faster. It's Jaros, the pacemaker, the 400-meter specialist. And in the race proper, it is Wesley Vasquez who's in front. He's a lovely-looking runner to watch, Vasquez. So strong and so powerful, and often you're expecting him to tie up, and he doesn't. But he's got his work cut out tonight. Jaros, just a couple of strides too fast, you would think here, but especially bearing in mind if it was anyway sensible, Vasquez would have gone with him. 49.5 at the bell. Vasquez in second, de Arriba just behind him, then Rotich. And watch for Lewandowski, who tends to come through like a steam train. Vasquez huffing and puffing a little tiny bit. Lewandowski, bang on cue, coming past a couple of his compatriots, trying to close the gap on Arroyo, the other Puerto Rican. He is a long way back, though, but he does this so many times, Lewandowski. Vasquez leads then with about, 120 to go. De Arriba in second. Watch for Ferguson, Rotich and Lewandowski coming wide on the outside. Vasquez driving for the line. Guy Learmonth running well. Rotich coming past Vasquez. Lewandowski coming late, but it's a little too late. It's Rotich from Vasquez, 145.3. Looked like there were some tired legs out there. He's followed up a fine win in Marseille with another one here in Poland. And maybe he was just feeling that low 144 in France. Vasquez really grinding it out towards the end there. Did well to hang on for second place. Guy Learmonth was there or thereabouts. Adam Schott began to close, so too did Lewandowski, but even Lewandowski left it far too late. He's just towards the middle left of your picture there, trying to close down his compatriot. Vasquez hung on for second. But Rotic, another good win from the Kenyan. Apparently named Ferguson after Sir Alex Ferguson, the legendary Man United manager. Learmonth coming home ahead of De Arriba, who tired, and also Adam Schott, who stuck his right arm out as if to save a couple of hundredths. But Ferguson, Chariot, Rotic takes another win. Not the fireworks in terms of time, but an intriguing race nonetheless. Surely not another 22.5 throw. Let's see. He is absolutely metronomic at the moment, Krause. Well, he's such a big guy, he almost can't give it the full juice because his momentum would take him out the front of the circle. But what he does give it is more than enough. It's another fantastic card for the Olympic champion. And he's getting better with every round. Absolutely incredible. Surely, at the halfway stage, the win is going to be his, barring something very special. Great card from Haratic. 21.51, 21.45. And he's more than a metre down on Krause's shortest attempt. Another good throw there from the European champion, indoors and out. Haratic's comfortably in second place. Can he edge closer to the American? Yes, he can. It's a fine card and a nice tap on the shoulder from Ryan Krause. Confirmation then, Ferguson, Chariot, Rotic taking that one. A good second place for Vasquez, and Guy Learmonth out-dipping Adam Schott and Lewandowski. Urbanek, one of 4 women in this hammer competition. Edging towards the business end here of our evening. Hope you've enjoyed it so far. Men's and women's fours still to come, along with the end of this men's shot put and the 2 hammer competitions. Both throws over 70 metres so far for Urbanek. Fyodorov. Been around a while now, the 31-year-old. Silver in the Worlds last year, but that one gets tangled. So after that modest 65.96, she's some way adrift in these early stages. Crowd have really enjoyed it this evening. Great to see people back in an athletics stadium, it really is. There'll be a lot of excitement ahead of the women's 400, loaded domestic field. Tavernier leads, courtesy of that first round throw of 72.47. European silver medalist 2 years ago, a bronze in the Worlds. Second best thrower in the world this year with 74.94. That was back in the early stages of July. But she's putting an excellent card together here in the early stages, the French woman. So this should be Malvina Copron. Just over 70 with her first round throw. World Championship bronze in London. Won last year after Anita Vladarchik had gone on a run of winning this event from 2012 back up to 2017. Not quite clicking for the 25-year-old at the moment. She has gone over 74 meters this season. That was on the 8th of August, so a little while ago now, coming up for a month. Marginal improvement, but still has some distance to go to close down Tavernier. Konrad Lukavici just struggling to settle here. That looked better though, didn't it? Only 2 men over 21 meters so far. 20.88. He moves up to 4th. David Stahl just toppling out. He had a marginal improvement in the second round up to 20.83. German national champion. World champion, European champion, multiple occasions. Well, we've seen Svoboda just out-dipped in the 100 meters by Daphne Skippers. Piotr Lisek, the Raw, just second from the right-hand side. He won the pole vault. Been a great competition for Poland's finest, and here's another one. It's a wonderful card Michał Haratyk is putting together, but he's under enormous pressure from Krause, who's just on another level to everybody at the moment, globally. Another fine throw from the huge man, but he's still almost a meter down on Krause, who will be next to throw. So Krause, 22.53, 22.59, 22.70. Can he keep this going? Are we going to be treated to 6 of the best, as was the case in Des Moines on August the 29th? The competition surely is won. Can he keep this going once again? Come on, is the cry. Yes, he can, is the answer. We're watching something incredible here. The only other time in history, other than Des Moines, and potentially here tonight in Poland, where all 6 throws from one man have gone over 22 meters, was Alessandro Andrei on the 12th of August in 1987. That's how rare it is. And on that night, Andrei set a world record at 22.91. Well, unbelievable. Now, Fidek, men's hammer. Let's bring you up to speed here. Well, the roar from the crowd tells you what you need to know there. The world champion from Moscow, Beijing, London and Doha has just delivered a big one after a no throw in the first round. Novikovska, his great friend and rival, has gone out to just over 75 meters. So too Kokan, the Ukrainian. But Fidek has just laid down the gauntlet there. 79.81. That is a season's best. That is a brilliant throw from the pole. Now to our penultimate event on the track, the men's 400 meters. Zalewski, arguably the favorite here for Poland. 8th fastest in the world this year, 3rd fastest on the European lists. But a decent array of talent on his inside and his outside. Dave Kendziera, a fine sprint and 400-meter hurdler. Personal bests this year at 300, 400 and 600 meters. Tony van Diepen, European indoor bronze last year. Joachim Dobber, Dutch national champion, semis of the World Juniors 4 years ago. He looks pumped, doesn't he? Then Karol Zalewski, world indoor 4x4 champion 2 years ago, national champion. Rabah Youssef, 4x4 bronze in Beijing and in London. Who could forget that 44.54 that took him to the final in Beijing? Kacigan Jusnicki, national indoor champion in Poland back in February. And on the inside, former European under-23 champion at the 400 hurdles, Patryk Dobek. Zalewski starts in lane 5. He's got Rabah Youssef on his inside. That's Dobek on the inside in lane 2, a brilliant 400-meter hurdler, hoping to go well here on the flat. Dobek, Jusnicki, Youssef, Zalewski there, the favourite, Dobber, Van Diepen and Kendziera. The men's 400 meters. Can the pole deliver in front of an expectant home crowd? So they are safely away. First time of asking. Good even running at the moment. Nothing much to separate them. Perhaps Dobber running well, 3rd from the outside. Van Diepen has gone past Kendziera. He's got to try and hang on. Zalewski in a good position to strike here, but watch for Rabah Youssef as well. It's Dobber at the moment as the stagger unwinds. Van Diepen just on his outside. Now Zalewski has an opportunity to close. It's getting a little bit tight. Just about enough momentum perhaps, but Zalewski's beginning to tie up. Is he going to hang on? Yes, he does. Zalewski from Dobber and Van Diepen. Well, he had to work hard for that. Unofficial time, 45.75. Good race in the end. His legs began to buckle, the favourite, with about 40 to go. And you thought perhaps that Dobber or Van Diepen would come back to beat him. But he hung on well, rounded down 100th as well, 45.74. So really good from 250, or probably 175 onwards from Dobber. the national champion from the Netherlands, 23 years of age. Van Diepen on his outside, his compatriot, also hanging on well. Now watch Zalewski. There's a tiny, almost half hint of a stutter, but he somehow managed to find the strength to hold off the other two, who were not a million miles away behind him. Rabah Youssef was in fourth. He's got a huge upper body strength, Zalewski, hasn't he? But my goodness me, he was working a bit for that. Good win for him, though, in front of the home crowd. So he's in the centre of your picture. That's the point at which perhaps it looked like his legs were going to buckle, but he found a way through. 400ths ahead of Dobber, who was 600ths ahead of Van Diepen in third. Confirmation then, Karol Zalewski, the favourite, took that one from Joachim Dobber. Van Diepen a season's best, and so too Rabah Youssef in fourth. Well, if you've kept us company this far, well, David Stahl just putting the shot in the wrong direction. Just slipped out of his hands there with the powder. We've got the climax of the men's shot, men's and women's hammer, and we've got one last event on the track, the women's 400 metres. So stay with us for another 20 minutes or so, if you will. I'm delighted to have your company. Big roar from David Stahl. Couple of no-throws in the third and fourth. God, straining his big toes there to keep himself on the right side of the lines. Well, at least he's got one on the board, but there's no improvement. Fabri, the Italian. What a vein of form he's on. 21.99. He's not quite producing that, though, this evening, is he? Best of 20.96 in the second round. But he's improved a lot this year. And he'll be hoping that very soon he joins that illustrious group of men to have put the shot over 22 metres, but he's not going to improve with that effort. Well, on any other day, a great card like this would be good enough for a win. It's a fine sequence of throws from Michel Haratic, but he's being made to look second class, and he's not, he's world class. Ryan Krause is out on his own at the moment, and Haratic is a long way clear of the rest in second. Really starting to get cold now, with around about, what, 15 minutes or so left of our coverage. His first no-throw. So, Krause has had every throw over 22.50. Can he keep that going? His average, no. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. It was another good one. But he's such a huge man. If he tries to give it ever so slightly too much, his momentum tends to carry him out of the front of the circle. So we're not to see six of the best, but it's still an unbelievable, unbelievable sequence of throws. Nowitzki has seen his great rival launch to a massive 79.81. Finds himself, therefore, a long way adrift in second place. He is the European champion. Multiple bronze medals at the Olympic Games and the World Championships. He has gone over 80 this season. It'll be an improvement, but not close enough on this effort to supersede Pavel Fidek. Novikovska has had bronze medals at the last 3 World Championships and in Rio. 76.96, he's improved by over a metre, but he's still got to find a substantial distance to beat his long-term friend and rival. Speaking of which, here he comes. 10th on the all-time list, Pavel Fidek, 83.93, that was 5 years ago. Polish stadium announcer getting everybody fired up to see what Fidek can produce here in the third. No. Needs to control it. But what a fine, fine effort that was in the second round. He'll be desperate for Tokyo to come around. Szyszkowski. Down towards the bottom end of this illustrious leaderboard. It's been a competition of real quality, instigated by the man who arrived in a cowboy hat, Ryan Krauser, 22.70. Michał Haratic, 21.78, almost a metre adrift, but that's still a fine effort. Szyszkowski here, hoping to improve, but he knows there's more where that came from. So, a fairly disappointing night for him. Rukavitsky. A wave to the crowd. Season's best in the 4th round, 20.88, so not a bad return for his evening's work, but it just looks on a different level to the man who is inevitably going to win the competition. There's Fabri. The Italians also sort of struggled to settle this evening. Ponzi, this giant American, one last attempt to get up towards the top 3. Fabri's third at the moment with 20.96, and bear in mind, Ponzi has thrown 21.72 this year. Gives it a big roar. Disappointed with his night's work here, but he's progressing nicely under the tutelage of the very experienced Ryan Whiting. Don't know about the chalk in the, I don't know what you call that. Is it a bum bag? So no improvement there for Nick Ponzi. David Stahl. Best effort so far in the second round. Multiple world champion, multiple European champion, Olympic medalist. Has he got some fireworks in the final round? No. And you can start to tell how cold it is because you can see their breath in the stadium. Of course, normally at this stage of a year, the season would be just about over, but there's still some great action to come. Ostrava on Tuesday, we've got Zagreb to come, the Rome Diamond League, Doha Diamond League. Stahl will have other chances this season. Now Fabri, the young Italian. European under-23 silver last year, up very close to the 22-metre line so far this season, but not tonight. Real excitement in Italy about how he's developing, but it's been a mixed evening for him here in Poland. Just 2 men left to throw. Michał Haratic. Just one no throw and 4 fine efforts. He's going to need a massive PB if he's to beat Krause, but could he get close to a season's best? Needs another 10 centimetres for that. His best so far in this campaign, 21.88. Well, he gives it the big roar. That is a good effort, and it's been an excellent night's work for the European champion. He's having a cracking season, actually. 7 out of 7 in July and August. National champion as well. $21.64. That is a fine card, but they were all playing second fiddle to this fella. Well, we were really hoping for 6 of the best, and but for that no throw in the 5th with his foot toppling forward, perhaps it would have been. Now, can he finish with some fireworks? He is more than capable. He's in the form of his life, the Olympic champion. Has he got a treat for us here in the 6th and final round? He said yes. Ah, that is an amazing night. 22.53, 22.59, 22.70, 22.52. And that is another massive throw. He's having the most remarkable season, he really is. 22.42. He has been, without doubt, in a class of his own from start to finish tonight. Krause has brought the American form to Poland, and the season isn't done yet. Ryan Krause delivering once again an excellent second place for Michał Haratic with 21.78, and Fabri, the Italian who's in really good form this year, takes 3rd, just ahead of Bukovici, who's rewarded at least with a season's best in 4th. So good to see so many people enjoying the action. A few rounds to go in the hammer. Alexandra Tavernier leading with that 73.11. Oh, might like that one. Yes, that's edging closer to the 75-metre line. The European silver medalist, 26 years of age, is one of the best throwers in the world this year. Very close to 75 metres earlier this season on the 11th of July. And that's an excellent effort, increasing her lead by more than a metre. Nowitzki needs to find around 3 metres here to put his compatriot under some kind of psychological pressure. He's so quick in the circle. Oh, that is a great throw. Maybe just a little bit of stiffness in that left shoulder. He won't be up to 79.81, but he is going to improve on his best effort so far. Is there some magic to come in the last round, or is he feeling a little bit tight there? The big improvement, just waiting for the confirmation to come through. 78.88. He's within a metre, but there's still a little bit to do for him. The 4-time world champion. Already produced a massive season's best. Can he get over the 80-metre line? PB of nearly 84 metres 5 years ago. All eyes on the hammer circle here with just the women's 400 to complete. A very enjoyable evening here in Poland. Well, a couple more attempts for Fidek. I wonder, I'm going to keep a close eye on Novikovsky just to see whether he has hurt his left shoulder. Fidek still ahead, but his lead down to less than a metre now, so keep a close eye on that one. Fyodorov, silver medalist in the World Champs last year, came into this meeting with a relatively modest season's best. And she hasn't delivered thus far this evening, but she's certainly got the quality. Let's see if she can go better here in the 5th round. Now, she's not happy with her rhythm and her timing here. Tavernier still leading, by the way, if you've been dipping in and out, 74-12. She improved on her 2nd round effort by just over a metre. (65-75), so no improvement on her 1st round effort. Fyodorov seeing the funny side, but she needs to try and find something if she's to edge towards the top of this leaderboard. Just 8 competitors across the men's and women's field. Malvina Kopron now. Beginning to warm up, 72-37, her best in the 4th round. Still needs to find nearly 2 metres to replace Tavernier at the top. It's another good throw by the former World Championship bronze medalist. She won this event last year. No improvement. One last chance to find the season's best and beat the Frenchwoman. So to our last event on the track then, the women's 400 metres, a real battle for domestic honours. Svite Ercetic in lane 4. Klaver's going well from the Netherlands just outside her, and then Baumgart-Vitan, who had an excellent season's best in Brussels, in 6, and Holub Kowalczyk in lane 7. Katarina Klimyuk, 2nd in the national champs, European under-23 bronze in the 4x4 3 years ago. She's on the outside. Then comes Anita Horvat, who made the national championship final for Slovenia. 2nd in Brussels, good run from her in Belgium. Margazata Holub Kowalczyk, 3rd in the national champs, world indoor silver, 2016 and 18. What a good run from Baumgart-Vitan. Season's best in Brussels by 100th of a second. Lika Klaver, 3rd best European athlete in the world this year, 3rd in Stockholm. She's in PB shape. Justina Svite Ercetic, national champion, European champion, the only one in the field to have gone inside 51 seconds, but not this season. Patricia Verchikevich Zadvanska, 4x4 silver last year. Cornelia Lashejevic, only 17 years of age. What an opportunity for her. And Alexandra Gavorska, 4x4 bronze in 2017. She's on the inside. So a field largely dominated by Polish women. Svite Ercetic in 4, Klaver of the Netherlands in 5, Baumgart-Vitan of Poland in 6, and Holub Kowalczyk in lane 7. Who will take our final victory on the track on a thoroughly absorbing night here in Poland? Last event, women's 4. Watch 4, 5, 6, and 7. Away first time of asking, the crowd really getting involved here and enjoying the action. Klaver's gone out very hard up onto the shoulder of the tall figure Baumgart-Vitan, who came through so beautifully in Brussels. Klimjuk has gone out very hard on the outside, but it's the Dutch woman who is potentially in PB shape going well at the moment. Klimjuk still hanging on the outside, waiting for the best of the rest to try and close down the Dutch woman. Sveti Ercetic coming through on the inside. She's in second. Baumgart-Vitan in third at the moment. And now Klaver beginning to come under some pressure, and the crowd are responding. They want to finish with a Polish win. And Sveti Ercetic is coming past a very tired Dutch woman. She takes it 51-34. Klaver in second. I think Baumgart-Vitan came through for third to follow up her good run in Belgium. That was nicely judged by Sveti Ercetic. She let the Dutch woman come past and away, rounded down by 100th of a second. 51-33. That is a season's best and a richly deserved win. Very powerful looking athlete, Lieke Klaver. She's comfortably away and clear at the moment, but inevitably and eventually the lactic acid begins to take hold. Watch Baumgart-Vitan coming through for third. She hung on really well for another season's best, just outside 52 seconds. But there, Sveti Ercetic shows all her experience coming through from a very tired Klaver on the line, and Baumgart-Vitan rounding off the top three. The national champion, the European champion, delivered on home soil. Our last track winner of the evening, as we wait to mop up victors in the men's and women's hammer. So I really hope you've enjoyed the action this evening. Stay with us. I think we've got a couple of presentations after the end of the hammer, but that's our track action, and it finishes with a Polish winner. So fine season's bests for Sveti Ercetic in first and Baumgart-Vitan in third. Klaver in second, 51-61. Good run, but she just ran out of steam. Sveti Ercetic taking that one. She'll be really pleased with that. Klaver in second, and Baumgart-Vitan takes another few hundredths off a previous season's best from Brussels. So one or two people beginning to leave, but we are still waiting to mop up the end of our two hammer competitions. And if you are just joining us or you've been missing a little bit of the coverage, this is the Kamila Skolimowska Memorial meet, the inaugural women's hammer champion in Sydney, who lost her life in February 2009. So it is absolutely appropriate and fitting that we finish the memorial meet with the hammer competition. So, Nowitzki rather, needs to find another meter or so here to try and beat his highly decorated teammate. It's a good effort, but that's not going to do the job. At least he is throwing. I was a bit concerned about his shoulder. He rubbed it a couple of times in the early rounds, but really seemed to be feeling it after throwing that 78-88. And there'll be no improvement with that effort, and he knows it. (76.51). So he stays a metre or so adrift of this fella. Two throws to go. Rhythmic hand clapping from the crowd. 4 times a world champion, a European champion, the 10th best in history, trying to summon that energy from the crowd. Ah, that's a great throw. It's a really good throw. Oh, he gets the red flag. It would have been pretty much bang on what he produced in the second round of 79.81. There is a big one in there, isn't there? There is a big one in there. He's got one last chance to show us. Yeah. Heels just coming on top of the circle. He knows Novikovska, his compatriot, has gone over 80 meters this season, and he'd love to finish with a big one. I was talking to the Polish organisers. They're really proud of this event and how many world-class athletes have decided to come here and compete. Live on Polish TV, as well as being broadcast around the world. Well, they've just given a big roar for Fidek, and they need to do so again here for Fyodorov. No, she just hasn't really clicked this evening. She's been remonstrating with herself, a few ironic smiles, but that's a lovely hug and a wave. We'll see more from her this season. But it was not to be the victory for the Pole this evening on home territory. The National Athletic Stadium here. It's only been officially named that about 2 weeks ago, and this will be the setting for the World Relays on the first weekend of May. And I tell you what, if the crowd are half as good there in the what we hope would be the lovely early summer sunshine as they have been tonight, we're in for a real treat. It's a decent effort in the last round, an improvement from her, but she will not challenge Alexandra Tavernier or Malvina Copron. Copron then, the World Championship bronze medalist from London. 4th in the Europeans 2 years ago. She needs to find almost 2 meters to deny Tavernier. She has gone over 74 this season. No, and she won't do there. A good effort, but not enough to produce a Polish champion at the end of our evening here. Well done to her for second place. A solid sequence of throws. Urbanek. Can she deny the Frenchwoman victory on home soil? No, not with that. So the Polish women not having it all their own way this evening, but Alexandra Tavernier did arrive here as the second best thrower in the world this year with 74.94, and she's produced a throw very close to that for the victory. Copron in second, Urbanek is third, and Fyodorov a long way adrift in fourth. Now, is there one more little moment of magic from Alexandra Tavernier? 74-12 in the third round. No throw in the fifth. Guaranteed the win. Can she challenge her season's best, which is just 6 centimeters shy of 75 meters? More than capable. No, doesn't matter though. She's taken some good scalps here. That's an event that means a lot to hammer throwers. She finishes with a winning margin not far shy of 2 meters. So an excellent win for the French woman. 26 years of age. Still many more years in which she can deliver at the top level, and she's done so tonight, taking a win in Poland. So just one more event to finish, and it's the men. Last round then. Francis European Junior Silver last year. Lying in last place, needs 75, 73 to move up a place. Taking his time. Just standing up from my commentary position. A fair few people have stayed in the stadium, which is great to see these men bring the competition to a close. The Greek national champion, only 20, gathers himself once more. He has gone over 76.5 meters this year. Was it worth waiting for? Yes, it was. Just looking for the white flag. That is an excellent improvement from Francis. Much better. Well, he didn't feel that he'd got it right early on, and he brought himself to a stop. What a way to round off his evening. 76.78. I make that a new personal best. Brilliant. Well done. That moves him up to third, and it is indeed a new PB. Fabulous finish to his evening. Mihailo Kokan, World Junior Silver. 2 years ago. He's fourth on the junior all-time list. He now finds himself in fourth place after seeing Francis throw out to over 76.5. He's gone 77. No, not tonight he hasn't. Well, still very, very young. A huge talent from Ukraine, he really is. World Youth Gold 3 years ago. Fifth in the World Champs in Doha last year. An amazing record for somebody so young. So, it comes down to the familiar foes, friends, and rivals. Wojciech Nowitzki. Can he find almost a meter to beat Pavel Videk? He's gone over 80 this season. No, not to be. Doesn't even need it measured. Second place. And I just wonder whether that left shoulder has given him some problems tonight. Yeah, definitely. He's been rubbing it a few times after the throws. A nice touch of the fists for Pavel Videk, who can now step in, safe in the knowledge he's registered yet another victory. And it's here on home soil over his great friend, Nowitzki. So, the whole stadium to himself, every other bit of action finished. It's been a funny old card. His fifth round would have been very close to 80 meters, but for a minor infraction with his heel on the top of the circle. Can he round off a thoroughly enjoyable evening with a piece of magic from the hammer circle? Let's go. Four-timer world champion, come on. Now, where did it land? No, it's a red flag. It's outside the circle. I couldn't tell because they put the fireworks on almost the split second it landed. Doesn't matter. He's won the competition with a new season's best. And there'll be more from those two as the rest of this season unfolds. Hope you've enjoyed it. Athletics front and center once again. Pavel Fidek has taken the win with a really decent season's best, just 19 centimetres shy of 80. Novici, second place for him. Franzikakis came through with a PB in the fourth round. Kokkan will be a little bit disappointed with 75.5. Well, we haven't got to wait long for our next instalment of world-class athletics. Ostrava on Tuesday night. Can Karsten Warholm find less than a tenth of a second and break that world record? Alexandra Tavernier has taken the women's hammer competition from Malvina Kopron. Furmanek in third. Fyodorov just didn't really get going tonight with 66.5. Yes, Ostrava's just a couple of days away. Zagreb coming on September the 15th. We've got Rome Diamond Leagues, Doha Diamond Leagues, plenty of athletics still to enjoy in this COVID-disrupted season. We promised some wonderful performances tonight, and my goodness me, we've had them. Ryan Krauser with 5 throws over 22 meters in the shot put. 4 of them were over 22.50. Johannes Vetter was with the second best javelin throw we've ever seen, second only to Jan Zalesny. Well, he is the meet director of Ostrava on Tuesday, and he would have been sweating as he watched that javelin soar out way, way beyond the 90-meter line. It was absolutely incredible from Vetter, back in the city where his grandfather was born. A moment of inspiration for him. And what a fabulous stadium this is turning out to be. National Athletic Stadium now, no longer just known as Stadium Silesia. It's provided a wonderful backdrop to some great athletics, brilliant field events, some intriguing track action. And now we get to see the award ceremony for a few of our winners tonight. Good victory as well in the women's javelin for Maria Andrejczyk. 65.70 in the opening round. She's just standing on the left of picture there. Then to Johannes Vetter. Unbelievable. What a performance. 97.76. And he followed it up with a 94.84. Children's 4x4. What a moment for them. Piotr Lisek. A great big smile and a great big roar from him. Always at the start of the pole. He's denied Sam Kendricks' victory with that 5.82. A few worthy participants and winners in the Special Olympics race. This is Anthony Balcerki. He ran 10.54 for victory in the boys' 60 meters. Michael Darius, one of the excellent winners this evening. So to Alicia Jeronim, the men's and women's 100 meters for athletes with a disability. And one by one, they still keep coming forward. Excellent victories for Yulia Levchenko in the high jump. Vetter came, Vetter delivered. The second best throw in history. Lisek had the acrobatics. And he had the bottle for the big occasion. Delivered the roar, delivered the winning vault. Javelin and Sam Kendricks deposed. Great competition from Dongo in the women's shot put. Visser's stumble cost her the race in the women's 100-metre hurdles. Laura Muir's brilliant acceleration over the last 250. Svoboda was out-dipped by skippers in the women's 100. Schott and Lewandowski renewed a huge rivalry, but it was Ferguson-Rotic who took the honours in the 800 metres. Zalewski delivered in the men's 4. They were all trailing in the wake of the Cowboy Krauser, the Olympic champion, miles in front in a class of his own. Tavernier and Fidek took the honours in the hammer. And Sveti Ersitic had the composure for the big occasion. She'll be on the front page of all the Polish papers tomorrow. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our coverage. My name's Rob Walker. It's been an absolute pleasure. Roll on Ostrava for the next instalment of world-class athletics. Our sport is back, front and centre, and it's delivered in style from Poland this evening.